Hello, this is davidji, and I'm coming to you live from the sweet spot of the universe, Carlsbad, California. This week, we dive deep into awakening the divine and cultivating your compassion. What is compassion? Most people think that compassion is empathy. What's empathy? It's sympathizing for someone, sort of feeling their pain, understanding what they're going through. But compassion is beyond empathy. It's beyond sympathy. Compassion is empathy plus rooting for that person's pain to end, rooting for their suffering to end. And that takes it one notch above. Now, we may often think, oh, I'm compassionate for this person whom I like, or this boss, or this friend. We must separate compassion from attachment. And truly ask yourself, if you didn't have the relationship you have with this person, would you still be rooting for their suffering to end? For example, you may say, I love my boss. And you would root for your boss's suffering to end. Well, what about if your boss fired you? Would you then have the same emotions for your boss? Would you have that same detached rooting for their suffering to end? Or would there be a little agenda? And so compassion transcends agendas. It's very difficult for us to have compassion for another being if we're not having self-compassion first. And this is where so many of us stumble. I stumble, you stumble, we all stumble when it comes to self-compassion. That's rooting for ourselves. Now, about a decade ago, I made the determination that I was only going to hang out with people who rooted for me. And that's changed everything in my life. When I have the opportunity to be with people, I want to be surrounded by people who are rooting for me, who have compassion for me, regardless of their attachment to me, their friendship to me, their connection to me. And so why don't we start this week with self-compassion? Why don't we begin the process of love for others with love of self, unconditional self-love. And if we can look within and root for ourselves to thrive, and root for our own suffering to end, and truly have our heart in that direction, then we can more easily flow that to those in our life. Join me on Hay House Radio this week, and let's explore the difference between compassion and attachment, and why we can activate our self-compassion and our true compassion for others, and in the end, awaken the divine within. Namaste.